Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well on August 12th, 2024. It's Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow and get the message out there and combat all those cyber stalkers. And speaking of cyber stalkers, it has come to my attention that there are websites and groups out there where the cyber stalkers, the community stalkers, the vigilante stalkers, the neighborhood watch and whatever, that not only do they get together on apps and talk about us, but they talk about us on websites. And it was brought to my attention that there's this one, let me just pick it up here. Let's see. It is called, and it was just given to me, it's called the Gossip Bakery. The Gossip Bakery. I guess you bake your gossip in the Gossip Bakery, but the Gossip Bakery is evidently a website or a chat or a forum where some of these cyber stalkers get together and create profiles and gossip about the person they're targeting. And they have conversations amongst themselves, sort of like what we've experienced, on my channel, where you'll go to, one of our favorite primate cyber stalkers, and they end up having conversations with other stalkers just like them. And I don't know if they're talking to themselves, if it's their alter ego or whatever, but anyway, it was brought to my attention by a homesteader who is being stalked, gang stalked, cyber stalked, stalked in person, the U-turns in the driveway and all that wonderful stuff. But she found that they were gossiping about her on the Gossip Bakery. So, when you have time, go check out the Gossip Bakery and see if your name is on there. But anyway, let's get on to the Q&A of the day. On Quora, there was a question. Are targets aware that gang stalkers operate in hierarchies with different levels of information about the targets they stalk and harass? So now, somebody responds on August 4th, gang stalkers are the lowest level on their food chain. Notice how I said their food chain. They don't belong on human food chains. Their existence is separate from humans. They're in a category all of their own. They only exist for their handlers, which are usually cops and FBI. Well, there are others. I'll just add, like, what about the county lawyer, right? Everybody's got to get on the good side of some lawyer, right? Why, I don't know. But anyway, there are others. The majority are cops and FBIs. My favorite Bureau of Instigation. That's what I call them. Because they instigate trouble amongst people. They cause trouble. Poke, 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 prod, prod, prod. You poke somebody enough, they're going to respond. It's not going to be favorable. They're not going to respond favorably. But, these malignant narcissists and psychopaths. You see that little bug crossing? You see this little bug. They have dumped so many of these little gnats in my kitchen, and whenever I have a light turned on, they gravitate towards the light. And here's the one right now. But anyway, so yeah, my favorite Bureau of Instigation, they're always involved. Why? Because they maintain the watch list, and they're the ones that when you FOIA request them, they'll send a response that we cannot confirm or deny your name, you're on any list. And they always have to add in the name of national security. Like, how is it a national security risk to disclose if my name is on a list or not? Especially since I'm like beyond 60 years old at this point. We don't need to go into all the gory details of how old I am now, but it's absurd. And that 72% of the people on the list are women. Well, because they know that, for the most part, and it's not that men are not on the list, there are a lot of men on the list, But, they're not going to go after a guy, like a high testosterone level guy who's, a loose cannon, because they might get hurt, right? So they go after men who are nice and intelligent and, non-combative for the most part and stuff. And the same thing with women, because they know that our inherent personality types are to not make waves, are to just, smooth things over. But not these critters. They want to instigate trouble. That's why I call it my favorite bureau of instigation, because that's what they do. They hire provocateurs to harass us into responding, hoping that we're going to blow off and do something really catastrophic. Like the other people that they incite to do mass unalivings. I'm just going to say it that way so that I don't get in trouble here. So the majority are cops and FBIs, and above them are politicians and people in higher positions in government. It could be other professionals and non-professionals. It's not all exactly the same for each cell. There are 400,000 plus cells all over the world. The gang stalkers are told that targets are Muslim, Russian, Chinese spies. They use whatever works for them. Sexual predators, child molesters, human traffickers, drug dealers, sex workers, prostitutes, gigolos. They use these lies to control their gang stalkers, and the gang stalkers believe everything their handlers say because they're morons. They're idiots. They don't question anything. They don't question authority. They don't question reality. They just go along to get along. Like, oh, yeah, did you just say that she's a this or that? Oh, yeah, okay, we'll believe that. Even though I've been watching her for 5 years and I'm not seeing anything like that. But if you say it's true, then it must be true. Because I am too stupid to do any research to the contrary. So they say that we're all of these things so that these people will hate us. It's all about hating us. They want our neighbors and people that we encounter to hate us based upon a pack of contrived lies. It's all part of their hierarchy. They're all under total control. This is a well-organized but not well-trained millions. It's all sanctioned by all countries and governments. Some are more deeper and involved than others, but I guarantee you, all countries are involved. All. So nobody really responded to this. There were a couple of upvotes and stuff. I'm really surprised. I mean, somebody asks a question here about a rally, doesn't even comment on what this individual said. So, well, let's see. Now, one person asks, how do you get out of being a targeted individual? And this person responds, I've been targeted since 2012, and I am not sure how to escape this program. There have been time periods where my targeting had somewhat deceased, but now it's at its worst. I do know it is best to keep moving forward with your life no matter what. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and focus on the positive in life any possible way that you can. Despite also being remotely tortured, I try to be silly, cheerful, and laugh as much as possible. I don't discuss my targeting with everyone, so that I can try to have some sense of normalcy. Targeted individuals are loved by God, and the universe will support us sincere efforts and attempts to move forward, despite the fact that we may be suffering. So, what are your feelings on that? I've had people contact me and say that they're not being targeted that much anymore, and I even had one person say that she's not targeted anymore at all. So, you have to wonder, was it an accident that they were placed on the list? Was the funding deceased for that particular individual? How about the person that placed them in the program or was targeting them? Perhaps they're deceased. Maybe something happened, something transpired with the files. I don't know. But according to the ACLU, Trapped in a Black Box, Growing Terrorism, Watch Listing, and Everyday Policing, it's their PDF from 2016, based upon FOIA request information of the FBI of 2008. There is no method for getting off the list. And besides the fact that there are numerous lists, many lists, the last time I looked, there were like 8 or 9 lists. Maybe there's more that we're not even aware of. And once you get on one, you may get off that list, but they'll shuffle you to another one. That's why very often they're trying to instigate something from you so that they can keep you on a list. They need information. They need validation. They need proof. They need evidence to continue to keep you on some list or other lists in order to receive their funding. And that's why when I lived at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner, the criminals at the Manalapan, New Jersey Police Department set me up in 2018. Yeah, they set me up in 2018 that while I was walking on my driveway, my newly installed neighbor reported me. She made up a whole story about me that I cursed in front of her infant son, and who was not outside. I did not curse at her. But she made up this entirely ridiculous story. And then when the police showed up, and I gave them my side of the story, including evidence, was never included in the incident report. Only her side, which was fabricated nonsense. And on the incident report, it said that I was a terror threat displaying disorderly conduct, which is total BS. Well, I FOIA requested information on that. I actually received the report demonstrating that they actually did label me a terror threat for walking on my driveway. And then when I asked them what it meant, they never responded to me. They refused to add my evidence to the contrary. And they left it at that. So the Manalapan, New Jersey Police Department are involved in quote-unquote gang stalking and placing people on lists to pad their pockets with grant money. Yes, and that's how they do it. They also did it to one of their own, because one of their own police officers filed a lawsuit against the chief of police and the township. They had called him an enemy of the state and ordered him to have a mental health evaluation merely because he filed an internal affairs complaint. That's right. So cops get targeted too. So the Manalapan, New Jersey Police Department, not all of the cops, some of the cops are not involved. They may be aware of it, but they're not involved. But there's a group, about 8 or 9 or maybe even 10 of the almost 40 cops there, I don't know how many are there now, that are involved in the stalking of innocent people for profit. Yes. So I look forward to questions and comments. How do you get out of being a targeted person? Like, please tell me if you're targeted, or you believe you're targeted, and that your targeting has stopped or deceased or is not as much. And tell me how long it has been deceased and why you think it stopped. I would be very interested. Other people, please tell me if you think you ever get off the list. I mean, I know an 80-year-old man who's been on the list for 30 years. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think you ever get off. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Remember to hit the thumbs up. This was a Q&A. The initial question was, are targets aware that gang stalkers operate in hierarchies with different levels of information about the targets they stalk and harass? And this individual says that gang stalkers are the lowest level on their food chain. And he says, notice it, I said their food chain. They don't belong on any human food chain. So Anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I will probably do another live just because I don't have a lot of space on my phone. And oh, and just as a side, my mother's phone did finally start up. It took a long time. Now, I put her phone almost fully charged, turned off, on airplane. No, well, I turned off her phone, put it in an EMF pouch, and when I pulled it out, the battery was completely drained, and the pouch was open. And just as a side, not to complain, but you know, I have to document the torture going on here. When I woke up this morning, the criminals had burnt the front of my grass in 2 places. Then I noticed that my trash was not picked up again. This is the 2nd week in a row it hasn't been picked up. And then my mail, I had 2 packages that I sold through eBay. I put them in the mailbox this morning, put the flag up. Last night, I called it in, you know, online to come and pick it up. So I scheduled a pickup, put the flag up, had 2 big pouches in there. I go there to get my mail. The flag is down. And the idiotic, dumb ass carrier, who I found out is new, I mean, they better fire this guy or girl, saw that my mail was there, saw that the flag was up, put the flag down, did not take my mail, and then stuffed my new mail that I was receiving today into the mailbox, pushing the mail that they should have taken all the way to the back. So that's the way my morning started off. Yes. They burned my grass, didn't take my trash, didn't take my mail. It's the wonderful morning here in Kentucky. I'm going to sign off for now.